Former NASA astronaut Michael Massimino joins me now. He hosts the new podcast, Two Funny Astronauts. Great to see you. Welcome back to the show, Michael. So what are the benefits of private commercial space travel, first off?
Well, Pamela, thanks very much for having me. I think the benefits is similar to what Richard Branson just said, is that hopefully we'll open up the opportunities in space to thousands of people. And it's not just the people who are going to be going in the next year. It's also for experiments. I'm a professor at Columbia. Some of my students have already flown a spaceflight experiment on a Blue Origin vehicle, Jeff Bezos' company. They're also flying another one on a SpaceX vehicle going to the space station. So it's opening it up for students, for researchers, for entrepreneurs, and also for people who are going to get a chance to go themselves. So I think it's a very, very exciting time.
What are any downsides you can think of? Are there any safety concerns that you might have?
I think, I think they're going to be pretty safe. I think that they've tested both of these vehicles. I know people working for both of those companies, both for Virgin Galactic and for Blue Origin. So I think that it's going to be a very safe ride. But just like anything else we do in life, and especially when we try to leave the planet, there's always that risk. But both of these spacecraft are very safe, I think, and also have backups. We've learned a lot over the years. We've had a few accidents, NASA has, and we've learned from them. And I think we've passed those lessons on to these private companies. And so I think they're going to be as safe as possible.
So how far off are we from an era of space tourism? Virgin Galactic expects to be doing commercial space flights next year.
Yeah, I think we're really close here. We've had paying customers going to space on a Russian Soyuz to the International Space Station. We call them space flight participants, and that's been going on for over a decade. Hasn't happened too much lately, but the Russians did that years ago, and now we're seeing a new era with NASA included with private astronaut missions, and now Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos have their spacecraft ready to go to take people. But it's you need a lot of money to do this. This is not a cheap enterprise, and I think everyone in that business recognizes that the price is going to have to come down. So I think at first it's going to be for the people who are wealthy, who can afford to do this privately as space tourists or even as researchers or explorers, because I don't think they're just there for tourism. I think they're there to try to do this for a reason as well. And I think eventually that price is going to come down, and that means more and more people are going to be able to get a chance to go to space for whatever reason they have.
So we know space junk is becoming a real problem. Are you worried that this will just lead to more space junk? We've tried to become more responsible about that. We meaning the world has. And in this case, everything that they're launching is supposed to come back. So I'm not that concerned. Jeff Bezos' mission is a suborbital flight. His spacecraft is named after, the program is called New Shepard. It's named after Alan Shepard, the first American in space. And it's doing a similar mission to what he did, going up for about 15 minutes, getting into space and then coming back down. Richard Branson's spaceship has a mothership that takes it up. It then goes into space and then lands back on Earth on a runway. So there shouldn't be any junk in orbit as a result of either of these two programs. But you're right, space junk is really a concern. But in this case, I don't think we need to worry about it. Would you go on either of these flights?
I would, Pamela. I would love to go again to experience it again. Sure, I certainly would. I'm not paying that money, though. I'll tell you what. There's, I worked hard in school, and when I to become a NASA astronaut, and not that we got paid all that much, but we didn't have to pay for the experience. So I don't think I would pay that price quite yet. But we'll see. Maybe someday the price will come down. Or they'll ask me to go, or they'll figure out something for me to do. But would you go, Pamela? What do you think?
I would totally go. I was I was watching that Richard Branson interview, part of it, and he's just sitting on his couch, and I'm like, he's going to be in space in a few days, right? I mean, he's going to be in space, and right now he's just sitting on his couch, and he's going to be there. What is that like from someone who's been there, done that experience, to leave the atmosphere and go into space, and you're in a different world, literally?
Yeah, and it's quite an experience, Pamela. In our case, there is a difference. We have these private astronauts now, and we, if you want to call them tourists, but I don't really consider them tourists. I consider them more like private astronauts. In our job as NASA astronauts, I have a couple of my friends in space right now, two Americans, Shane Kimbrough and Megan MacArthur. Megan and I flew together on my second mission. And that's a different sort of model. So what's going through your mind when you're a NASA astronaut getting ready to go is that you're going to be going for a while. You have a lot of responsibility. People are expecting you to do your job, so there's a bit of stress and a lot of anticipation associated with it. I hope in Richard Branson's case, you know, he's trained up, ready to go. The spaceship will do most of the work, and I'd say the same for Jeff Bezos. So I hope in their case, they're just really looking forward to the experience. I was as well. It's a very special time, the few days before you experience space travel. You know, those last few days are on the planet, so to speak, and when you return, the planet is definitely different. It really does. You really look at things a bit differently, and I think that's one of the great things about both of these programs is that more people will get to experience and bring those experiences back to them, to all of us here on Earth.
For sure. Michael Massimino, great to have you on as always. Thanks so much.
Pamela, thanks for having me. Thanks for covering the story. Sure appreciate it.
Happy 4th.